Oh man, Achilles running injuries are the worst. We're gonna talk about them today. I'm gonna give you some ideas in terms of likely culprits, why they come in, as well as some practical strategies you can put in to get yourself better and back on track with your running. Excellent. Now, when we start talking about that tight, achy Achilles, I'm just going to give you some things from my perspective and some of the things I can do from someone who can generally help you with your movement and your strength. If you're really unsure about something, I am not a physical therapist or a doctor. I never pretend to be one. Definitely go check out with one if you're really, really concerned. But this is good advice if you're just someone who has a slightly cranky Achilles and just needs a little extra TLC, a little extra love and care. So usually what happens when that Achilles gets a little bit sore is that Achilles is a little bit loaded up. That calf is a little bit tight. That foot gets a little bit tight and a little bit sore. Or that Achilles has started to get loaded a little bit off axis. And I'll sort of show you what you mean. Basically what happens, if you can start looking down here, if I start to be up here a little bit, this whole system can be tight, the bottom of my feet can be tight, and that can put a lot of pressure on this tendon. Or there's some sort of off-axis pulling where one aspect of the calf or the foot is collapsed, and all of a sudden this Achilles is being pulled a little bit asymmetrically. That can be part of the issues as well. So in this next piece, I'm going to dig in a little bit more there and then show you how to fix it. So guys, some of our culprits really are going to be this. The first one we probably see is that if that Achilles is a little angry, it's probably staying a little bit too loaded all the time. And basically what I mean is that there's always a moment where when I sort of hit the ground, my calf and my Achilles is going to release a little bit and relax a little bit. So there's a thing where our Achilles actually acts more as an elastic tendon where I get this little bounce and rebound. But if I'm stiff, turned on all the time, it doesn't get that chance to release and it's a little angry. And sometimes that can occur from being a little bit further forward on my toes. Hey, there's some of you out there who've been running way up here for your whole life. I don't know how you do it. If you do, all the power to you. But if you're someone who has been told you're a heel striker and all of a sudden you've started to shift towards running up onto your toes, this is such a massive change in such a short period of time that something is going to give, and usually what gives is your poor Achilles, right? So that's why we want to be careful there. The other thing I would say that's a likely culprit is going to be your footwear. If you're someone who's gone to a footwear that had maybe more support down to a lesser support shoe, something a little bit more neutral, or a shoe that had a greater heel drop to forefoot, typical shoes, a lot of classic shoes are 10 to 12 millimeters to something a little bit lower down here. If you start going to a 4 millimeter drop shoe, which is what a lot of common tempo and racing shoes are, or a 0 drop shoe, you're asking for a lot more length out of your calf and Achilles, and once again, that adds a lot of stress there as well. The third likely culprit, when we get tired, what happens is that we tend to lose hip position. And when we start to lose hip positions, I'm not able to push through my hips as much anymore. I don't get this elastic return and snap here from my hips. So what starts to happen to make up is I actually have to push through my feet and through my calves. So I start to load up my feet a little bit more just because I'm pushing there, as opposed to actually pushing from my hips. It's kind of weird. So posture always rules. Through the hips first, then I get this nice little elastic return and snap. If I lose posture, I don't get this snap anymore, and I have to push off the ground a little bit more so I can focus on my hips and my pulling.
Guys, make sure you like and comment on this video at the bottom if you want, and stick around to the end. We've got a free gift for you. All the details right at the end of this video.
Okay, so this next piece, Nora here, is gonna be a little bit of assistance. It talks about kind of some practical things that we can do to help ourselves out. So the first one, if I'm dealing with a little bit of inflammation, what I want to do is stop doing the things that's bothering me a little bit. And one of the things I could do to assist myself is that if I'm in a shoe where I jump down to too low of a shoe, I would actually maybe go back to the original training shoe I was in for a little bit, especially if I'm close to a race or my Achilles is just bothering me just a little bit. That could help me out a little bit there. Give yourself a little bit more heel raise. So if you're making that big dramatic jump in your shoes, we're just chewing on some sticks. We can go ahead and make a slightly less dramatic jump by going back to the other shoes. The other thing is I want to hit my mobility and injury prevention. I've learned a lot of tips and strategies from the Mobility WOD gang and Dr. Kelly Starrett. So some of this language and thinking is going to be from those guys. When Dr. Kelly treats injuries, right? One of the things we start to look at with an Achilles is he starts looking above the issue and below the issue. And one of the things I want to do is if I've got something that's really swollen and inflamed and irritated right here, I don't necessarily want to keep poking that because it's just going to get a little angry and irritated. But what I can start to do is work on some of the tight tissue above, because as we said before, the calves and the upper calf, the gastroc, and the lower calf is going to be, the soleus is going to be really tight. I could use a foam roller. My foam roller today is my coffee mug because, hey, that's what I got with me. And actually, this is greater than a foam roller because it's a little harder, which is great for getting in here. And we've done different videos on this, but what I want to do is work in this east-west fashion. I could cross this foot in here. I could have a friend add a little bit additional pressure on top. But not only do I want to work kind of through the whole calf, but I want to get some foot circles back and forth through here, really working through this whole foot. And that's going to make a big difference. Even without hitting the Achilles, I'm going to get a big difference there. I could take that love further up into my hamstrings, and then I could take it even below, and I could work on my feet. I'm going to stand up. I just want you to look at my feet right here. I could take a lacrosse ball, and what I could start to do is just roll through the bottom of this foot, and this is just going to get some of this tension and some of these adhesions that occur in the plantar fascia to release a little bit. And I could open this thing up right here, I'm just doing the little express version by spending a couple minutes on each foot. And then what I could even do is work on my shin, this outer part, my anterior tibialis, kind of working through different aspects. So you can see that I'm going after my Achilles, but what I'm trying to do is hit all these areas below. It's good practice to do, even if your Achilles isn't sore. If you're doing a lot of quality running, that's going to help you out a ton. Another tip here, I want to be able to maintain my fitness when I'm training. And if I can't run hard, I can start to swap some other things in. And my go-tos would be get on a bike if you have access, or an exercise bike. Sometimes that can bother your calves, so be careful. But for the most part, it's okay. Get on a rower. Rowing machine can be very, very effective. For those of you guys who are strength training inclined, you could definitely add some intensity in with some kettlebell swings and some burpees and some other movement in there that also work on a lot of other mobility and strength challenges as well. Last little tip here as I keep going. Throughout my day, I want to ditch the sneakers and the insoles if I can slowly, and I want to get into the flattest, most minimal shoe possible. What we tend to do is we have soft, untrained feet, and we tend to support them with these big, beautiful shoes. But then on the few minutes that we actually try to run, we ask too much of a dramatic change. I have to remember that I'm not strengthening my feet when I run. I strengthen my feet every dang day when I'm just walking around, and I want to set myself up. So spending more time barefoot, spending more time throughout your day running errands and groceries in a more minimal shoe is actually going to give your feet the strength, the Achilles tendon, the length it needs to then go ahead and run with better technique and more natural shoes and everything else you need to do. So go ahead. We had a lot going on in this video, but try out some of these tips. Get going there, and we'll get you back out on the road. Hey, we really hope this video helped you out, and if it did, we actually have some more injury prevention training for you where we really dig in with some more videos on specifically how to treat your own body a little bit better and how to stay a step ahead of these things. If you want to get that, all you need to do is click this link in this video, or if you're on your mobile, go ahead and click that link down below. I like to pretend I'm European and say mobile, and click that link down below in the description, and that'll take you to a page where you can enter your name and email, and I'll be able to send you that free training. Of course, if you like this video, let us know, hit that like button. Definitely drop any comments down below as well. Any future requests, we're always looking for new videos for you for there. And then definitely subscribe to our channel. We got more injury prevention, more mobility, strength training, running technique, run workouts, everything you need to be a good runner. We got all there on our channel. Guys, that's it. I'll see you in the next one.